What cutscene is more important than the first one? The first cutscene of a game gives you your first look at what the game's all about, and sets the stage for what's to come. So today, I wanted to look at the first cutscenes from the mainline 3D Sonic games and rank them from worst to best. So without further ado, let's go. As always, let's start with the rules. First, I'm only counting the cutscenes that are either in the game or start the game. So opening compilation kind of things like the beginning of Sonic Colors or Sonic Adventure 1 don't really count as cutscenes. Second, I'm only ranking the 3D mainline games because they have the most opportunity for spectacle. Also no spin-offs or side games, so no Sonic Boom and no Shadow. With that being said, let's look at the worst opening cutscene. If you've been here before, you know my feelings on this game. We start off with Eggman walking through one of his laboratories where he's creating something new. We see a dark figure floating in a tank with a jewel in his chest. With Eggman saying that this is one of his best creations yet, you get another look at his evil creation, and then the screen fades to black. And then boom, you're in Green Hill Zone. Looking a little bit more like Sand Hill Zone if you ask me. The cutscene itself isn't terrible, it's just kind of nothing. But of course, just like the marketing for the game, they make it seem a lot darker and more serious than it really is. Being all dark and foreboding only to have Orbot go, "The boss means business this time." I guess it's foreshadowing for the rest of this garbage game. We open up with Sonic and Tails walking through a theme park and putting across that classic Colors charm.
I gotta hand it to the Eggster. This place is epic.
We then get a few seconds of a pre-rendered cutscene for some reason of them riding the elevator, and that's it. But then there's a commotion. We see Orbot and Cubot chasing two little aliens. But don't worry, they're not in real danger. They have nets and they're gonna catch them, and one of them has a silly cowboy voice.
Hello, little aliens! Your voice chip is stuck on cowboy again.
Sonic jumps into action, saving the two aliens and getting them to safety. Then one of them enters him, giving him some new powers, and he blasts off and starts the game. This cutscene, unlike the last one, actually does kind of tell you what's going on in the story. Eggman built an amusement park, and we're here. And maybe there's something evil afoot. Oh, look, it turns out there is. It's something, so that's going for it. The dialogue in it, though, is bad. Not as bad as the rest of the game, but it's still kind of bad. Then we get our first look at what the comedy's gonna look like for the next 10 years of Sonic. Honestly, the only reason this cutscene got ahead of Forces was because it had a little bit more to it. It wasn't a lot of good, but it was at least something. The first cutscene of Sonic Generations actually takes place after the first level. Once you beat Green Hill Zone Act 1, Classic Sonic turns around to see a monster in the sky, who transports him to somewhere unknown. We then transition to modern day. It's Sonic's birthday, and his friends are throwing him a party, and Tails even gives Sonic a birthday present, a chili dog. What, did he forget to buy Sonic a present, so he grabbed one of the chili dogs and put a bow on it? What an asshole. But all of a sudden, a giant monster comes out of nowhere, opening portals that suck all the characters in. Sonic tries to attack the unknown monster, but gets slapped away and knocked out, and then wakes up in a white void, and the game starts. This cutscene's not bad. We get to see a lot of characters we haven't seen in a while, and even though there's very little dialogue between them, it's cool seeing everybody interact. The animation's pretty good, and the dialogue isn't god-awful. There's not a whole lot to say about this opening cutscene, but it's at least better than the last ones. Sonic and Tails are chasing Eggman in the tornado, trying to rescue the small animals that are trapped in the container. Eggman releases the container, letting it fall, and Sonic jumps after it. Just misses it, lands back on the tornado, and they get hit, flying through the clouds until finally coming upon the Lost Hex, a giant hexagonal planet? Deciding to land on it and go from there. Whatever happens to those animals, oh well. The dialogue here is not great, but the animation, oh my goodness. Aside from some of the music, this cutscene is probably the best thing to come from this game. The movement and the animation, the facial expressions, everything in it just looks great. But that really carries the whole cutscene because the other stuff ain't that good. Frontier's opening cutscene did what Forces was trying to do, but way better. We open with Eggman searching through a forest when coming upon some ruins. He puts some kind of tech onto the tower. All of a sudden, little robotic creatures start coming out of the ground, which it looks like Eggman was expecting. But his device starts sparking and then sinking into the stone. He reaches for it and then gets sucked in himself. Then we fade to black. We transition to a clear blue sky and the tornado. Sonic, Tails, and Amy are flying towards the Starfall Islands in search of the Chaos Emeralds, but Sonic drops something.
You tracked the Chaos Emeralds here, right? Let's find out what drew them here.
Two things.
Gross.
All of a sudden, the plane goes haywire and a portal opens up in the sky, sucking all three of our heroes in. And that's where the game starts. So the first part of the cutscene with Eggman, that's how you build some suspense. We didn't have to have a comic relief robot tell us it was serious. We could just see that it was. Eggman says, "The ancient secrets will be mine." What does that mean? Oh, now I'm intrigued. I can't wait to learn more. That's how you do a cutscene. Then with Sonic and Friends, we get a more standard intro. We know where they're going. We know why they're going there. And then they get sucked into some other world, which we find out is cyberspace. But either way, we see what's going on. This is a fairly standard cutscene, but with what we've already looked at, this is a big step up. We open on Sonic doing his usual thing, running fast, with Knuckles and Tails flying in to meet him. Tails hands Sonic the letter he got from Eggman. Huh? Did Eggman mail that to him? Did he pass him a note in class? I mean, how did he get this thing? Okay, it doesn't matter, whatever. Instead of reading this piece of paper, Eggman's on it talking to him. The letter says, "Dear Sonic Heroes," like that's just always been their name. Eggman has developed the ultimate weapon and will conquer the world in 3 days. And invites Team Sonic to just try and stop it. Tails and Knuckles jump out of the plane, follow Sonic, and the game starts. This one's goofy, but it's good. Seeing Sonic doing his thing, doing loops and jumping around and going crazy fast, that's always fun to see. Hearing Tails' new baby voice was a little weird, but not as weird as Eggman's moving, talking paper. Why take over the world when you can just invent stuff like that and be rich? This cutscene is simple, but very fun. It's day-night in Station Square. All is quiet until a helicopter goes flying through the streets, closely followed by a little red light. It's pretty happening. We then see Sonic jumping from building to building, finally landing on one of the roofs.
Oh yeah! This is happening!
Told ya. He sees a ton of police cars driving down the road, and he gives chase to see what's up, finding the police in a standoff with a water monster. Sonic jumps in to fight, and the game starts. This is a classic. Sonic jumping from building to building, delivering some cool 90s lines, and showing no fear jumping in to fight a brand new monster he's never seen. Yeah, the graphics might not be as good as some of the other stuff on the list, but the fun, energy, and attitude this cutscene has makes it awesome. We open in a beautiful nighttime festival with candles and fireworks and a little Pope guy. The girl that seems to be the subject of the festival walks up and is handed a torch. While looking into the flames, she has a vision. She's floating above the city, and in the distance, a giant monster engulfed in flame arises. But she comes to and is still where she was standing before. She lights the big flame and everybody cheers. The fireworks go off and rockets rain from the sky. The egg carrier's flying overhead and drops in a ton of robots. A smaller ship comes down, lowering to reveal Eggman. Oh, good lord.
Ugh, it's hideous!
Yeah, Eggman. Ugh. He says he's here for the secrets of the Flames of Disaster and the Chaos Emerald that the princess wears around her neck. All of a sudden, a blue wind circles everybody, and from it emerges Sonic the Hedgehog, ready to kick robot ass. He destroys all the robots, grabs the princess, and gets out of there, all while a new mysterious hedgehog watches from a distance, fading out and starting the game. This is a great opening cutscene. We get some hints and foreshadowing of the story, some great action and cool lines, and the animation and scenery is just gorgeous. Of course, after this, it immediately turns to this.
Sonic, take this!
But we're not talking about those cutscenes, we're talking about the first one, and the first one is sweet. It's a clear sunny day over the city, but there's a helicopter flying a prisoner. Gunn has arrested a criminal hedgehog and is transporting him in this helicopter. But oh no, he's escaping! It's Sonic! Sonic jumps on top of the helicopter, ripping off a piece that must not be that important, and gives that famous line.
Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies, I'm out of here!
He then jumps off, hurtling towards the city below to escape his captors and start the game. This might be kind of presumptuous to say, but I don't think this is just one of the most memorable Sonic cutscenes. I think this is one of the most memorable cutscenes in any game. We're not even talking about the variable when Big is there, then it would have to be number one. Sonic hanging off the side, delivering one of his most famous lines, then jumping down to the PNG below. This cutscene will make you smile every time. I didn't end up including either of the storybook games. Maybe they are technically mainline, but they don't feel mainline to me, especially because they were only available on the Wii. But Sonic and the Black Knight does have a really great opening cutscene. Sonic falling out of the sky with 2 chili dogs, only to be whisked away before fighting the Black Knight, and then seeing what looks like his friends being sent to eliminate him. It's a cool scene, so I wanted to at least mention it. Then we have Sonic and the Secret Rings first cutscene, which shows Sonic was reading. Nerd alert. So with that out of the way, let's see number 1. Eggman has a fleet of spaceships in Space. Eggman himself is in the biggest one, laughing maniacally about something, until an alarm goes off. There's an intruder. Flames are billowing out from the tip of the ship. And who could it be? It's Sonic doing a
superhero landing. Yeah, that's really hard on your knees.
Eggman's robots rise from the ship. Cannons aim towards Sonic, and the action begins. Sonic, get this, starts running fast. He's running, he's dodging, he's doing his thing. Eventually, Eggman comes out himself in a giant mech and starts to fight Sonic. Sonic runs around, dodges him for a little while, but ends up getting captured. Sonic closes his eyes, and then all of a sudden the Chaos Emeralds come out, and he goes super in the opening cutscene. He flies right through Eggman's mech, destroying it. The Eggmobile pops out and Eggman flies away, trying to escape. Sonic gives chase to him, finally catching up in a different ship. Eggman crashes and falls to the ground, begging for forgiveness and a second chance from Supersonic. But then Sonic lets his guard down and Eggman traps him in a trap, a machine that siphons not only his energy, but the Chaos Emeralds themselves right out of him, using that energy to power a giant cannon that pierces the Earth, breaking it apart. And then from beneath the Earth, something's coming. Transparent energy type of tentacles start coming out from the Earth's crust, and some kind of monster starts to take form. At the same time, another monster is emerging. Sonic the Hedgehog turns into Sonic the Werehog. Eggman is ecstatic that something called the Gaia manuscripts were correct, and then makes fun of Sonic for his weird new look. Then rolls down the window and lets Sonic and the Chaos Emeralds, for some reason, fly out towards the Earth. And that's where our game starts. I don't have to tell you how incredible this cutscene is. The setting in space, always awesome.
Baldy nose hair!
Almost always awesome. The music, amazing. The animation, oh, it's perfect. In my opinion, this cutscene isn't just the best opening to a Sonic game, but it's one of the best cutscenes in any Sonic game. And I really hope we get something like it again very soon. Did you agree with my list? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to join the Z-Man Discord. The invite is below. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time on the Z-Man Show.